Many years ago, in the land of Egypt, the Israelites traveled down to do some work. There was a Pharaoh who lived in Egypt and was the king. The Pharaoh was a good king, and the Israelites got to live there and work when they wanted to work and play when they wanted to play, and everyone was very happy. Many years passed, and the Israelites lived there for a long time. And that Pharaoh went away, and a new Pharaoh came to power in the land of Egypt. The new Pharaoh said to the Israelites, "You are too many people, and you're working for me, and you're going to have to be slaves. You can't play when you want to play anymore." And the Israelites started to work and build things for the Pharaoh, and they didn't get to sleep when they wanted to sleep, and they didn't get to play when they wanted to play. But still, the Pharaoh was not happy and said, I don't want there to be so many Israelites. No more Israelite babies. Now, there was a mama who had a baby, and she was an Israelite, and she decided to keep her baby safe by putting the baby in a basket in the water so that Pharaoh couldn't find the baby. She sent her daughter Miriam to watch the baby and make sure the baby was safe. Now, just as this was happening, the Pharaoh's daughter came walking to the river and said, "Oh, look, an Israelite baby. I will take this baby home with me and take care of it." Miriam came out and said, "Would you like me to help with this baby? I know someone who's a mommy." And they all went back to the palace together to raise the baby. The baby grew and grew until he was all grown up, and his name was Moses. Moses was a very wise man, and he would go walking, and he would see all of the Israelites working so hard and not playing, and he thought this was not fair. One day he walked and he saw a bush, and he looked at the bush, and out of the bush he could hear a word. It said, "Hineni." And he looked around, he said, "Where's that voice coming from?" And the bush said, "Hineni, come here, it's me." And he went to the bush, and the bush said, "Moses, you have to go and talk to Pharaoh, and you have to tell Pharaoh that the rules are not fair." And Moses said, "I'm a little nervous about doing that. I don't know if I can." And the bush said, "You can do it. I believe in you." And so Aaron, his brother, went with Moses, and they went to the Pharaoh. And they said to the Pharaoh, "Oh, Pharaoh, we've worked for you for so long and so hard, and now it is time for you to let us go. We want to go and build our own houses and be able to play and sleep when we want to." And the Pharaoh said, "No, no, no, I will not let you go." And Moses said, "Pharaoh, our God is a very powerful God, and if you don't let us go, some things might happen to you, some things you don't like." And Pharaoh said, "No, I'm not going to listen." And Moses said, "Okay, well, we'll see what happens." And Moses went back. Now, early in the morning, the Pharaoh liked to walk by the river, and he was admiring the lovely blue cover of the river when all of a sudden, the river changed to a reddish color, and Pharaoh said, "Oh my goodness, this is not what I expected at all." And he said, "Moses, come here. Look what's happened to the Nile." And Moses said, "I know, it's because we need to go. You need to let us go. Then your Nile will be blue again." And the Pharaoh said, okay, you can go. Go ahead. I want my river to be blue." And Moses started to walk away. And Pharaoh said, wait. "I changed my mind." Moses said, "Are you sure you want to do that, Pharaoh? Because really, some other strange things might happen." And Pharaoh said, "No, I changed my mind." And Moses went. Now, the next morning, when Pharaoh awoke in his bed, ribbit, 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 there were frogs on his toes. and frogs on his head. There were frogs here and frogs there. Frogs were jumping everywhere. There were so many frogs he could barely walk anywhere. They were in his path. They were in the water. They were floating about and jumping on him. Everywhere there were frogs as far as he could see. They were near the pyramids and the camels and over here. And he said, Moses! Yes? Yes, Pharaoh? Moses, I'm going to let you go. I see there are too many frogs here. And Moses said, I told you, Pharaoh, you have to let us go. And Pharaoh said, okay, go ahead. And Moses said, all right, here I go. Wait, said Pharaoh. You can say it with me. I changed my mind. Oh, no. Moses left again. As if the water and the frogs were not enough, the next day there were insects coming. They flew in, they crawled around. And then the following day, moo, some cows started showing up. And each time Pharaoh would call Moses and say, hey, Moses, it's time for you to go. I'm really ready now. And Moses would say, okay, we're going to go get our stuff. And Pharaoh would say, wait. I changed my mind. Oh my goodness, what a mess it was. And then Pharaoh woke up one morning and he felt something pop him on his head. And all of a sudden there was hail. And then Pharaoh called to Moses and said, no, really, this time I want you to go. Pharaoh went inside the palace. And Moses quickly ran to the people and he said, quick, we have to go this time, and we have to go before Pharaoh changes his mind again. And so people packed their backpacks up. They took some clothes. They took some toys with them. They didn't have much time, though. There wasn't time to let their bread rise. And so they took the flat matzah bread with them. And they started walking far, far away. And they came to a great sea, the Red Sea. Egypt was behind them. And all the people came. And they got to the edge of the water. And they looked at the water and they thought, oh my goodness, we don't know how to swim. Had they ever had swim class before? No. Did you bring any floaties? No, we don't have floaties. We've been slaves all our lives. What are we going to do? And Moses said, don't worry. And he took a big stick and he banged on the water. And as he banged, a path came through the water. A great wind came. Help me with the wind. And Moses walked through dry land to the other side. Miriam followed him, and Aaron and all the other Israelites. They traveled across the Red Sea, and when they got to the other side, the dry land was covered by the sea again, and they started walking through the land outside of Egypt. They had made it. They had made it, and they started to go towards a place where they could work and play and have their own houses. But they had to walk a long time. Now, when they were walking in the desert, there were some problems. One is, there isn't very much water in the desert, and they needed to know how to find some water. Lucky for everyone, Miriam was very wise. She was a wonderful singer, and also she could find water wherever she went. She would go up to a well that looked as if it was dry, and then, poof, out would come some water. She would go to the next well, and the people would follow her. Poof, more water. Everywhere that Miriam went, she found water, and they wandered for many years until they came to a great, big mountain. Oh my goodness. The people looked up at the mountain, and they looked at each other, and they thought, we're almost there. We're almost to the place where we can start to build some houses, but we have a problem. We don't know how to have our own place. We don't know any safe rules. And Moses said, okay, you guys wait here. I'm going to go to the top of the mountain. I'm going to find some rules for us that will make us safe. And Moses went up the mountain to the very tippy top, almost to the clouds. The clouds swirled down around him. And when he came back down, he said, I found them. I found the rules. And Miriam said, what kind of rules did you find, Moses? And he said, well, I found rules about how we're not supposed to hurt each other. We're supposed to help each other. And Miriam said, that's a kind rule. And what are some of the other rules? And Moses said, well, we're supposed to share with each other and not take all the land for ourselves. Oh, that's a good rule, said Aaron. And there were some other rules too. And people started to think of all the kind and safe rules that they could do and make a nice house for themselves. And they crossed over another river out of the desert. And there they built homes for themselves where they could play and work whenever they wanted. And that is the story of Passover.